I am so mad. I don't care. I'm playing my video. So y'all gonna wait a minute because I'm playing it.
When I'm walking down the street, people are looking at me. What they see is a masterpiece created by the king. I am different by design, and I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I may not look like you and you me, but that's the way it's supposed to be. Dare to be you, dare to be me, and dare to be different and you.
Okay. What's up, y'all? Listen, did y'all see what I just did? So I popped on first already, but I was determined to play that video. I pushed go live too quick before I played the video, and I wanted my video to play. So good evening, good evening, good evening, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Talk About It Thursday. My name is Angela M. Mitchell. I'm your host. I am the CEO and founder of Back to Her. And we are here tonight to talk, and this is Talk About It Thursday again, where I love to interview women entrepreneurs and highlight their businesses and what they have going on. So I talk to all kinds of women business owners and speakers and authors and all of the things. And I just love to do that and highlight our businesses and share our stories, right? So today, I get to talk to my girl, my sister friend, Miss Nadia Monsano. Today, she's going to be talking to us about her latest project, right? So I'm very excited to be bringing her on here. I'm sure you've seen her on here before because that's my girl. And so, without further ado, I love to say that. Without further ado, I will bring my girl up on here on the stage so we can get this conversation going. Hey,
Hey,
girl.
thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Welcome. You know, it's always a pleasure. It's always great to see you. It's always good to talk to you. So, what is going on? How are
I
you?
am good. I'm good. I am super excited to, of course, be on this platform, Back to Her, and talk about it with you. I'm excited to dive into my anthology that we have coming up. And it's
Yeah,
just been a whirlwind of events and things that's going on in my world. But I am super excited. Again, as entrepreneurs, that's
I
what we got
know.
to do, right? We got to
I
be.
know. You're a hard woman to catch up with. I know it, girl. I know it. So before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So, for anyone that doesn't know me, my name is Nadia Monsano. I am the CEO and founder of My Sister Keeper. It's a branding, marketing, and graphic design agency. I help female entrepreneurs bring their brand online professionally by using digital graphics. I've also my anthology makes me a 10-time
Oh,
author, so 10 books under my belt. And I'm super excited about this one because, of course, I am the visionary for this one. So not only am I a branding, marketing, and graphic designer, I can now say that I am an author, a best-selling author as well.
yes, as we always, you've been a best-selling author. Stop playing. Stop playing. For those of y'all who don't know that, why was I about to call you Natalie?
Right.
Nadia was also we have been co-authors. We are co-workers. We are colleagues. You know what I mean? So you've been a best-selling author, girl.
Ma'am,
Stop tripping. Stop
that part.
tripping. Stop tripping. So yes, but this is so exciting though because your first time as a visionary
Yes.
author, right? Your first time saying, you know what, this is your vision and this is your project. So tell us about that.
Absolutely. So, the anthology that I started, it's called "The Beautiful Face of the Invisible Illness: Masking the Pain We Endure," and that really came about actually 7 years ago. Myself and my cousin, we were talking one day, and in our family, we have some medical issues, that run through our family, and we kept talking about, we should be writing a book about this. But you know how sometimes you make the plan and you write it in a
Mhm,
notebook and you put everything together, but then you close that
mhm.
book and you go into another book and you forgot about what was in the first book. So that got
Yep.
closed, and then I realized my clients that I deal with on a daily basis, sometimes they may have to cancel with me because they're not feeling well, or they may have gotten a flare up from their asthma and things of that nature. And I realized how, they were like, yeah, I have asthma, I have multiple sclerosis, or I have lupus. And I'm like, you have
Wow.
lupus? Like, you don't look
Wow.
like you have lupus. And that's how I realized that people such as myself, because I share my story as well about my invisible illness, um,
Yeah.
we don't show, you can't tell by looking at us that we have an illness, right? And I
Yes.
feel like there's a platform to show that people who are having these illnesses have someone that they can turn to and realize they're not alone, right? Yes, we may show up online as beautiful as we want to or walk out the door. Because when we walk back,
Mhm.
most of the time when we walk back in and we take that makeup off and we go and we lay in the bed, we're either in pain, we have to take a medication. I have medications
Right.
when I wake up. So I felt like we needed a platform so that we can talk about masking the pain we endure and making sure that anyone who's going through any type of illness feels like they're not alone, like they have support.
Right. Right. And it's so I think that is so important, especially us as
Hmm.
women, man. Of course, this is Women's History Month, so we are celebrating ourselves and celebrating women in that respect. But again, as women, we can be sick as a dog, man.
Listen,
Sick as a
okay.
dog, right? Like I'm feeling today, half dead,
Hmm.
and we still show up. We still show up. We still go to work. We still take care of kids. We still got to pay bills.
Okay.
We still got to do all the shit that we
Right.
have to do every single doggone day. I'm gonna say it anyway. That we have to
Exactly.
do.
Yeah.
Right, and nobody knows
No.
that though. A lot of times, like you say, you don't know. You
Exactly.
don't
And
know.
and perfect example, like today I had to take a flight, right? And because I have been
Mm,
flying so often, my vertigo has started to act up. So I have vertigo medication that I normally take if I'm traveling back and forth, and I forgot to take it, of course, this morning. So now literally sitting
right.
here like me, you, and the room is moving, but I tell you what, I'm gonna be on here and we're gonna have a conversation, right? So you never know what someone is going through when you
Yeah.
see them. That's why sometimes I know for me, um, I rather show someone grace and say, no, I understand if you can't show up right now, you got to take care of
Absolutely.
yourself. Other than, well, you said that you was going to be on this show, so why can't you? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
sometimes we definitely have to
Hmm.
show each other grace as well.
And absolutely, because and not even like you say, just illness. We are entrepreneurs, and we out here hustling,
Yes,
man. We out here hustling.
exactly.
Um, but sometimes we do it to our detriment, I would say, because we run ourselves into the ground, and especially when we're living with illnesses,
Yes,
invisible illnesses that people
yes.
don't see.
And we have to.
How many? Girl, a gnat got in my face. How many authors do you have?
Right. So, within myself, we have 17 stories that we're going to be, and 17 different illnesses that we are sharing
Yeah.
or educating you about in this book. Like, I could not believe that there were so many, different ailments that you cannot tell
Hmm.
by the human eye of looking at someone. They
Right.
show up as beautiful as they are, but not knowing when they get home, they are literally dealing with, like, someone has to take 5, 6 medications when they wake up in the morning just to get out the
Hmm.
bed to get their day started. And if they miss one of
Right.
these medications, that's their day, So
Right.
we are sharing 17
Wow.
stories.
Wow. That just goes again to show how diverse we
Hmm.
are, how resilient and how strong we
Yes,
are. My
absolutely,
goodness.
absolutely.
Um,
But
sheesh. It's just crazy. And like you said, 17 different illnesses. You know what I mean? Different ailments that women are
yeah,
dealing with. And just to be able to have the courage to share those stories, I think is amazing.
absolutely.
I think it's amazing. Now tell me more about this
Yes.
project because I know. Hold on, just wait a minute, because y'all know. Listen, we live. Come on. And my baby was crying. I'm sorry. Outside the door. And y'all know I wasn't about to let my baby cry.
He's like, let me
I was
in.
not about to let my baby
Right.
cry outside the store.
Exactly.
But, so tell me more about this project because I know you have like you got a whole
Yes.
bunch of stuff going on with this project.
Absolutely.
Documentary. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I realized this was more than just us sharing the story, right? Because most anthologies that you join, or even when we're sharing our stories, right? We share stories of, I've been through this, however, this is how I got out of it, right? So we're empowering people to
Yeah.
teach them how to get out. It's like my cat. Empowering people to get out of something, right? But in my anthology, I'm showing there's no cure, right? That we can say, oh, I'm cured now,
Mhm.
so this is how we got cured. It's
Right.
literally we're living day to day like this. So for me, it was more than
Yeah.
just writing the story. It was I wanted to get the heartfelt message from the authors as well, right? So we are doing a
Yeah.
documentary that is going to be shown in April. So get ready for us to talk about the documentary for April. And not only am I going to be doing a documentary, right, highlighting these ladies and them sharing their story and how these illnesses are even affecting their families, right? Because sometimes when they're down, the family has member has to take care of them, and we
Yeah.
talk about that as well in the documentary. But in May, we're actually going to have our live in person book signing in
Yeah.
Maryland on May the 4th, but I'm taking that
Oh,
opportunity to turn it into a health summit as well. So we're going to
yes.
be
Yes.
educating the community about the ailments that we have, right? So, for example, I talk about high blood pressure, right? And some people are like, yeah, you're stressed out or whatever, so your blood pressure gets high. But there's some people like myself who actually live with chronic high blood pressure, where my blood pressure can get to the point of almost going into a stroke. Like sometimes,
Oh my
the left or right side of my face would get numb,
God.
and because my blood pressure has gotten so high, or if I miss a dose of my blood pressure medication, it's headaches and fatigue, and there's so many different
Yeah.
things that happen. So we're taking the opportunity to, yes, introduce you to the authors, have them sign the book in May, but we also have a health summit where we're going to have nurse practitioners and people taking your blood
Mhm.
pressure there, and like we're going to have a whole
Yeah.
community day of just making sure you know your numbers, and we're going to educate you on 17 different ailments or illnesses that you can know signs and symptoms of, right? Because some of my co-authors talk about being misdiagnosed in the beginning because
Mhm.
the providers didn't know exactly what they had, and they had to go through all types of tests, but they had symptoms in the beginning, right? So we
Right.
teach you on
Right.
that day signs and symptoms of the different types of illnesses that are out there, and not just only for yourself, but to look for those things within your family members as well, right?
Yes.
So we're really trying to get the community as healthy as possible, or learn things as early as possible so that you can get a handle on it, right? Because
Yeah.
for me, in my chapter in my book, I talk about, how you have a headache and you're like, yeah, it's just me being stressed out, so let me just take Tylenol.
Mhm.
Or,
Mhm.
you know
Yes,
what I'm
ma'am.
saying? And not realizing back in my 20s, those things were happening, but I brushed it off because I'm like, yeah, I'm young. I'm not dealing with,
Yeah.
stress or anything. But come to find out,
Yeah.
I could not, I didn't have to get to the stage that I'm at right now with chronic high blood pressure and having to take so much medication uh, for it,
Right.
right? Like I could have done the pay management for the car crashes. I have been paying every day, but it's
Yeah, that's what I'm looking, trying to
yes.
see. What's a net
Annette,
read? That's
yes. Thank you for your comment. Yeah, it's definitely pain management as well. Like I wouldn't look at Annette and be like, she's under some pain, right?
and you
You would
would
never tell.
never right,
You would never tell,
right.
right?
And you know what? I can relate because I have chronic pain, back pain. knee pain. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And you just, who knows though?
Exactly.
People don't
Until we
know.
talk about
Yeah.
it, and we have to realize that yes, you and I always talk about sharing your story,
Yeah.
and it can be either opportunity to help someone, right?
That's
Understand
right.
or learn about something. So always be willing to definitely share your story, right? And listen,
Yeah.
when I read these 16 stories,
I bet.
my
I
goodness,
bet.
my goodness.
And we are sitting here as a result of sharing our
Exactly.
stories. You know what
True.
I'm saying? We are definitely, at least I know
I am as well,
we
right?
really are
Definitely
sitting
am as
here
well.
on this platform as a result of being courageous enough to say, you know what, this is a part of me that I want to share,
Exactly.
right? Um, and especially even with the illnesses, I live with every single day bipolar disorder, anxiety, depression. You know what I mean? And not even necessarily being misdiagnosed, but not being diagnosed really at all. And going through going through even my teenage years and young adult years, and not really understanding that's what that was, and finally being diagnosed later on in life. You know what I think? I might have to join volume two. I
Listen,
don't know.
right? There are so many people who are in my inbox like, you have got to tell me when volume two is, because I thought I was
Right,
alone. I thought that I, had this ailment or whatever, and nobody's going to understand me because I don't look like what I'm going through. So some people are going to
right,
be like, you have what? Like, you look so good. Like, what do you mean
right,
you're sick?
right,
Right?
right.
So most people are like, I thought I was alone in sharing this. So I can't wait, definitely talk about volume two, and getting other stories, because it's powerful. When I read the stories, like one of my co-authors who has chronic asthma, and sometimes it messes with her breathing, right? And I'm like,
Mhm,
there's no, and
mhm.
she's speaker, right? And she's up on platform speaking, but it's
Right.
what she has to do before she goes and have this
Yep.
conversation in public. Was like, you have an inhaler, a breathing treatment, a this, a that, a the other, and no one knows what she's doing in the back
Right,
end before she can come out on
right.
the stage to speak.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's very.
And you know what? Yes. And that's like that's the same, when before I got to here, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Before I was able to be here, um, when we would always have to get on live, and you know what I mean? And the different interviews and things that we were doing, it would be a whole thing for me to
Yes.
prepare to avoid the anxiety
Yes.
of it all. You know what I mean? That anxiety, that crippling anxiety.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I can definitely relate, and I can definitely understand. I know this is going to be. I can't wait to read these stories.
Yes.
I can't wait for just the whole project, the documentary, the health summit, because I definitely will be
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Yes, I will definitely be there because this is so important and it's so needed.
It
It's
is.
so
It
needed.
is absolutely.
Now, can you give us a glimpse of maybe some of the illnesses that you guys are going to be
Of
discussing?
course, absolutely. So I'm talking about high blood pressure. I have someone with lupus,
Mm,
asthma, multiple sclerosis, and I'm like, there's no way you have it, because sometimes people with MS, you can tell, and you can even
yeah,
tell
yeah, yeah,
that. I mean, she's in
yeah,
radio and she's doing interviews, and I mean, just going. And then some days I call her and she's like, sis, I'm like down right now, like I have a flare up.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we talk about celiac disease. Like I have one of my good friends of mine who with celiac, and it's like learning what to eat, when to eat it, and she is diagnosed in later in life, and we could have caught that
Hmm.
earlier. So
Yeah, yeah.
definitely those are the type of things that we definitely want to talk about. And then I have a young lady who has cerebral palsy, um,
Mm.
and she talks about going through life with cerebral palsy at a younger age where she was not, she didn't look like everyone else in school, and she talks about going
Right.
through that as well. So we have those type of stories that's coming out. We have diabetes. Listen, because I myself have type 2 diabetes, right? But I chose just to talk about high blood pressure. And
Right.
you would never tell when you see the person that has type 2 diabetes, you're gonna be like, "There's
You
no
don't know.
way she has
You don't
diabetes,"
know.
and she's on 7 different types of medications and has to eat right and insulin and,
Hmm.
there's
Hmm.
no way, right? So we definitely have to, the saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover,"
That's
always
right.
comes to
That's
mind when I
right.
think about my anthology.
I
Mhm.
bet. And another thing that is not as talked about, but I have talked about it before, is as Black women are not listened to when we go to the doctor. A lot of times we are not listened to, we are not heard, and so we really have to advocate for
Yes.
ourselves. I can recall going to the doctor many
Mhm.
times for different things, over the
Mhm.
years, and I'm not able to properly
Right.
articulate, like, this is what's happening, this is what's going on. And I felt that it was their job to be able to probe further, to know what signs and things like that to look for, other than just saying, "Oh, it's just whatever,"
Exactly.
and sending you on about your way.
Exactly.
They don't, they also, and this was actually proven, many, many years ago when they did ridiculous studies years
Mhm.
ago, but they tend to think that Black women have a higher tolerance for pain. They think that we can deal with pain, so we just in pain. Oh well, whatever. It's no big deal, and so we're not listened to. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? And I think that this is a needed health summit. This book is needed. This message is needed.
Yes, and
For
one of the things that we are doing as well is we actually have a 30-day devotional prayer book that we will have
okay,
along with the book. And in that, I had
yes,
the co-authors write a personal prayer that we can say in the mornings, when we wake up. I know most of us reach for our Bibles and things of that nature,
yeah,
but in this devotional, we actually have you on a daily 30 days praying along your day as well. So, and then of
yeah,
course, writing and journaling in that devotional as well, because so many times we go through, we wake up in the morning and we're not feeling 100%. And yes, we say our prayers and stuff like that. But I want you to write that down. I want you to write down how you feel that
yeah,
day. Oh, you know,
yeah.
our, you know, just getting that message from your head or how you're feeling onto paper, right? You never know. After you wrote those 30 days of devotionals and stuff, you might just turn that into your own journal or your own book, right?
Right,
So that's the whole
right. That's right.
thing about that.
That's right. Yes. Hi, Devetta. Devetta said, "Good evening."
Hey,
Hey, girl.
Devetta.
She's a co-author, right?
Yes,
Is that what
my
you're? Yeah.
co-author. Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
absolutely.
Hey, girl. Annette said, "My girlfriend and I were just talking about it, that perception about us and pain tolerance, because that is
Hmm.
absolutely a thing.
Exactly.
It is absolutely a thing. And it's sad, but there are such huge health
Mhm.
disparities in our communities. When I was at, that's crazy, because one of my term papers a couple of years ago was on just that, the disparities in the Black
Mhm.
community, between, and not just in the Black community, but with women, with Black women, and how we are treated, in the community,
In
in
the
the
medical.
medical field, basically.
Exactly.
When they're looking at us, when we come into the doctor, or even when we're giving birth, and we die at a higher rate and things like
Exactly.
that.
And that is so true because even at a younger age when I was going, getting diagnosed for high blood pressure and they were like, "Oh
Mhm.
yeah, I was taking some of the medications like, "Oh yeah, that may cause you to cough, but that's just a side effect of that medication."
Mhm.
And like
Mhm.
literally when I took that medication, like I felt like I was coughing up lungs, right? And they were like, "Oh
Yep.
yeah, you may not want to take that. Let's try something else." And it just felt like you just want to you ask me a question about how I feel and then you're like, okay, take this medication, it should help you. It's like
Yep.
I don't really need you
Yep.
to give me like the medication to it. I need you to educate me right? Like,
exactly on,
how
and that's
can I
not
help my
don't.
blood pressure stay at a level other than popping? I understand I need the pill to help me, yes, but you needed to
Right,
educate me and say, okay, cutting out salt, eating less
right,
carbs, like teach me
right.
that. So I literally had to go research and herbalist and
Mhm,
try to
mhm.
to get, because I don't know about anybody else listening or yourself, Angie, but telling me to take a pill is like, I don't know.
That's
It's
not
not
it.
it.
Right, that's not it.
Like
Yeah,
I cannot live my life on this pill every day,
for the
for the
rest of
rest
your
of
life,
my
and
life, right?
exactly,
But my
exactly.
reality is, right, if I don't take this pill and with the and me being an entrepreneur and in my 9 to 5 world, and I deal with daily stresses, right? So I have
Mhm,
to be on
mhm.
medication and I have to be able to control my blood pressure because strokes run in
Absolutely.
my family. And a lot of times
And that,
we don't go
and that.
back to look at our family history, right? We don't understand our family dynamics and seeing what
Mhm.
we know. Oh, yeah, somebody has, curly hair or somebody's light skin,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah. That those are the dynamics
that
that
we
we
tend
tend
to
to
look
look at,
at,
right?
but do you really know what's in your family? And that's the stuff that we're going to be talking about in the health summit as well, right? Because at some
Okay.
point in time, something may skip a generation, but it may end up on
That's
another
right.
generation. So
That's
you
right.
definitely want to understand your family's medical dynamics as well.
And Devetta says we have to prove everything, our skills, our worth, even our sickness and ability to be educated.
And
And that's
that's
absolutely,
facts. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely
that's
true. And and like I said, that's exactly why this book, this summit, and this message is needed. You know
absolutely.
what I mean? It's needed because if we don't advocate for ourselves and if we don't show up and have these discussions and bring these things to light, they're not gonna do it because
Ex-
you know what they say about Black women: we are the least respected. You know what I mean? Least honored, least protected. So we have to make sure that we show
we
up
show up
and
for
that we
ourselves.
protect
We
our.
definitely need to show up for ourselves. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot wait for this project,
Yes,
man.
yes, we're coming down to the wire. We're getting ready to do
Yeah.
our ebook launch coming up soon, and then we're going to
Okay.
have the screening of the documentary in April, and then you are going to have the health summit. We're going to
Yeah.
end it off with our health summit in May with our in-person signing, and that is going to be in
Yeah.
Maryland.
Absolutely. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I'm gonna have Devetta, you're gonna have to come up on here with me.
Yes.
Co-authors. I would love for you ladies to tap in, and I would love to have some conversations with you guys as well.
Absolutely.
So
I will definitely
yeah,
put the link to booking to be on the show
absolutely.
in the group as well, because I would love for you to interview these ladies. I mean, they're going to show up
Yeah.
as beautiful. And then when they start telling you what they go through on a daily basis, you're going to be like, wow,
Listen. Hey, but is that not that's our story, man. You know what I mean? And we gotta change that narrative,
yes,
ladies. We have to change. We gotta change that narrative.
yes.
We show up and we show up,
Yeah,
but half the time sometimes we falling apart.
exactly.
I might have had to be like the Tin Man and grease myself up so you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, exactly. But I
So
want people to
yeah,
feel, I want people to, especially people who are going through chronic pain or and things of that nature, to understand that it is okay that if you are in too much pain and you can't show up for something, it's okay.
yeah.
Don't,
And say I
yeah,
can't
I
do
can't
it.
do it. Don't overpush yourself because you never know what that's going to lead into, right? And I
Hmm.
want you to
Hmm.
understand that your story matters, especially if you're going through like chronic pain and things of that nature. Be willing to share those type of stories because it will make a difference for someone else, right? And be willing
Yes.
to
Yeah.
educate people about what you are going through as well. This is why I was so happy that I was able to think about having a documentary and a health summit along with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Because like you said, it's needed. It's
Hmm.
needed. Right. So this project is important. I cannot wait. I'm going to put Nadia's link down, a link to her website. I'll put it down in the comments shortly. and y'all got to tap in.
Yes,
Y'all got to
absolutely, absolutely. We are in, again, shameless plug, right? We are in pre-order season right
get it.
now, and you can visit one of our co-authors' websites or my website, mysisterkeeper.biz, to pre-order your copy. If you pre-order, you will get a signed autographed copy of the book, and so, and you know me, if you've worked with me long enough to know, I'm going to package that with some pens, bookmarks, you name
Some
it,
cute
right?
stuff, y'all.
So
You gonna get the
you're gonna
goodies.
get the
She always
goodies,
gonna come with the
right?
goodies.
So definitely pre-order.
And please know that any goodies y'all get from me probably gonna come from her too. So just pay attention.
Exactly.
Just pay attention.
Exactly.
Oh man, it has been a pleasure, of course, as usual. It's always a pleasure. It's always a good time when we get together.
Yes.
And we got work to do, man. We got work to do. So I cannot wait to
Yes.
see this book. I cannot wait to speak to these other
Yeah.
ladies. Devetta said that would be great. These stories are
Mm-hmm.
powerful. Absolutely. I can't wait to talk to you guys. So thank you, my
Absolutely.
beautiful sister, for coming on here with me.
Absolutely. Thank you so
And
much for having me.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, baby. Now I always give the disclaimer because I'm good for snatching people out the doggone thing real quick. So I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna take you out.
Oh no.
And thank you, baby. Thank you so much
All
for
right. Have a
joining
good
me.
one. Thanks, everyone.
Yes, that was my girl, my sister girl, Nadia Monsano. This is going to be an amazing project. I am putting her link. This dog over here whining, getting on my nerve. I'm putting her link in the chat right now because we definitely want you to get a copy of this book. To be a part of, when it's time for the ebook launch or whatever she has going on. This project is super important, ladies. And I know that once somebody will see themselves in one of these stories, I'm dropping it in there right now. Bam, there we go. So my sisterkeeper.biz. Make sure you go to her website, check it out. You'll be able to pre-order from the website. And yeah, and that's it, man. That's it. Also, I'm gonna drop a link if you are an author, speaker, business owner, entrepreneur. I want to talk to you about your business, your products, your services, what you have going on another episode, on some episode, right? Thursday of Talk About It Thursday. So it has been great. Thank y'all for showing up, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.